As usual, as always, I'm Jason Walker. We are looking at a black tea today. This is our tasting experience, so we taste teas together, we review them so that we can kind of share our experiences, learn about teas as well, interact with each other. You may have interacted with me or seen me talking about one of our sad days more recently using our clay teapot. We had filled it, we added our leaves, I had steeped, one pot already, went to add the second pot, refill the teapot, and we had a crack that formed, or that ran all the way down the length of the height of the pot, all the way around, it's nearly halfway around the bottom as well. So we had to say goodbye to this pot. Hope nothing like this happens to you. You want to be careful about your teapots. Maybe this one was just defective. But one of the things that is not defective, and one of the things that we're going to be looking at today, is a black tea. I'm going to be tasting this one together. This one is a Ceylon tea, a Sri Lankan tea. We're going to get started. We've got our basic equipment. We've got a tea taster's cup, and this one is from Adagio. We've got our water ready to go. It's been brought to a warm boil, so it's closer to around 200-ish. We've got our stainless wine cup there for allowing us to taste and look at the color. Now I've got a pretty hefty spoon here. I like my teas strong, bring out lots of flavor. And we're going to toss that into our cup. And when you shake it around, that covers the bottom of your cup very well, so that you're not really seeing the bottom. It masks that quite well. We're going to come back and talk about this, but of course we've got to get it started. So we're adding our water, making sure that all our leaves get saturated or coated in water well. We're filling up to about 1/4 of an inch or so from the bottom of the pouring opening there. Get our water out of the way and let this one work its magic as we set it aside. Now let's talk about this tea. And of course, with our tastings, you are welcome to taste with us, to make your own, get your own experience of dry leaf, wet leaf, and the liquor. So, talking about our dry leaf, before we do, of course, our introduction. This is from TeasEtcCeylon. This is their Ceylon OP, OP standing for Orange Pekoe #1. 1 ounce is offered for $3.95. This is a World Tea Champion tea from 2009. So that gives us a bit of information about that. Sri Lanka is, because of its location, southern part of India, it has actually kind of 2 monsoon seasons. There's a mountain range that kind of cuts the island into 2 sections, and on one half of the year gets stronger monsoon aspects during that half, so it's getting heavy rains. The other half of the year is getting the monsoon, and so when it's not raining, it's sunny, it's warm. You're producing teas in Sri Lanka nearly year-round. Let's talk about the dry leaf. We're talking about the aromas, the shape and color of the dry leaf. Now you're getting, right off the bat with this dry leaf, you're getting these kind of chocolatey aromas. You're getting a hint of something kind of fruit, kind of jammy, kind of sweet. So this is like an apricot jam that you're getting. Now, pull out our leaves here and have a look at that. Shake those around a little bit. You're getting a deep amber color off of these. Richer, lighter on the red, heavier on the dark browns, the grayish nearly. Okay, so kind of amber / russet. You're getting pieces of leaves. You're not getting, none of this indicates that you're getting really complete full-size leaves. So that's part of the process. You wanting to often break, crush, or chop these leaves so that they oxidize more fully. Get them deeper, browner reddish. Okay, so that gives us a little bit about our shape and color of our leaves, our aromas, that chocolatey aspect that we noticed, that kind of apricot. We're also going to be talking about, of course, next our wet leaf. And of course, there are situations where if you're learning about teas, you may want to pause and make your own notes before you hear my opinions. If you pause ever so briefly, because it will affect your steep time, and if your liquor cools off after you've poured, then you may have a different flavor experience. As it cools, some flavors may not be as strong. So now with our with our tasting cup, because we don't have a hole that allows air to go through as quickly as we need for a steady, smooth pour, we stick our thumbnail between the lid and the top of the cup. We raise it over and we start to pour carefully, because we're dripping down the side and we're also coming out the spout as well. Now with your tasting set, you will often get a bowl included, and that bowl is a lot more convenient than this, because you just basically turn your cup, lay it on its side, it pours out by itself. Okay, so that gets our last few drops out of there. What we're going to be doing now, a tasting cup is great for allowing you to look at the leaves. Before we do, I'm going to stick my nose in, get some smells, and then we'll show you how to turn it over and look at the leaves. So we're going to be looking at the aromas, we're going to be looking at the shapes and colors of the wet leaf. You see if they've changed any. Now, this one does have a kind of a warm, toasty smell to it. It's also got a bit of a fruity aspect. Still some of that kind of apricot type smell coming out. So this one does have the potential to offer some fruity notes, especially in the cup. Baked peach, almost a little bit of kind of like an apple pie, that, like we said, a baked plus fruit. Okay, now to look at our leaves, this tasting cup, you want to turn it over, you want to give it a few shakes, loosen up those wet leaves so that they fall there onto the top of your lid, and then you just rest your lid on the top of your cup. And when you do this, you're seeing that you're getting a more reddish color. That rust red has really come out. Your leaves have loosened up some, and as if you were to take a leaf and just kind of stretch it out, you'll see that that these are parts of leaves. Here I've got the pointed tip of a leaf, and it's been wrapped from the sides of the leaf inward towards the vein, and that kind of gives you an idea of what these leaves look like, what happened to them, and the colors that are there. Now, to talk about our liquor, which we're going to next, you want to be able to note about your wet leaf, your colors, your aromas, your body, your aftertaste. Again, if you need further notes or want to prepare on your own, just above this video you'll see a link for how to taste, and that can give you some pointers about other aspects that you want to make notes of. So we're going to look at our color here. We've got a rich deeper than auburn, mahogany, but browner, I would say. So nice colors there, warm looking colors, nice fall colors. Already, just off the aroma, before I go too far, this aroma gives me the sensation of a can of baked beans. That it's got lots of brown sugar in there, so there's a bit of sweetness to it. It's also got that beany note. Yeah. This one, the briskness, there's not a strong puckeriness to it, yet the body feels heavier. It feels because of that, it feels thicker in your mouth. thicker than a green tea, of course. It's like a heavy beef broth. So it's got a lot of heartiness to it. You get towards the aftertaste, which carries on a lot of that texture, doesn't drop off. Then the aromas and taste. Towards the end, you'll get a subtle note of this kind of grape aspect to it. A little bit of kind of a tannin puckery type, but ever so soft, ever so gentle. So, one, if you've learned about Sri Lankan Ceylon teas, you'll find that generally upper elevations give you stronger fruity, zestier notes, while your mid to lower give a thicker, often are associated with thicker bodies and less of that zesty fruit aspect. So this gives us the impression that this tea is a mid to low grown tea, although there's no information on the website. That's a hunch of mine, and because of what we think it is, what the characters it displays, we give this one a 93 because it has a smoothness to it. It does have that heaviness to it that gives it a good strong body. We miss some of that fruity zestiness, which we may or may not supposed to be there, and so that gives us the idea that this was, but we did see that zestiness and that little bit of fruity notes in our wet leaf and our dry leaf. So join us next time. Come back with us as we look at other teas, championship teas like this one and others, see which ones do they deserve their note as a champion. Do other people like you agree that it is a worthwhile tea? Come back and give us your thoughts here at Walker Tea Review.